Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, September 16th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. First up, lots of Google chatter around a Google search algorithm update. It seems, based on all the metrics that I follow, all the signals that I follow, including obviously the forums, Webmaster World Black Hat forums, you name it, whatever forums people are on, as well as on various social media like Twitter and so forth, and emails that I get, and looking at the various tools like Mozcast and Rank Ranger, Alguru, you name it, there's tons of AccuRanker, the list goes on. All of them pretty much is showing that there were major algorithm updates, changes to the search results this past week. So I have a post about it here. We also reported about an update last week on September 2nd. Google said it wasn't Penguin. Google's still saying this is not Penguin. John Mueller said it's nothing specific. He added some more things this morning saying we're always working on things. But you can see even like Mozcast and different people are saying there's huge changes that happened. Specifically, I think starting Wednesday into Thursday and even this morning, a lot of people are saying there's lots of different changes that are going on. So if you were hit, you do notice your rankings have changed, definitely take a look at that. Again, we also reported about earlier this week saying there's even more changes. And again, it seems like something's going on. Maybe they're tweaking what happened on September 2nd, or maybe something new, but Google said it's not, basically Google said it's not Penguin. Talking about Penguin, Gary from Google said Google does have a specific launch date in mind when it comes to Penguin 4.0. Last week we reported that they actually are working on the documentation on the blog post announcement about Penguin 4.0, and Gary said over here, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it, that Google has a, is there any date for Penguin? And Gary said, yes, there is a date for Penguin. So, that being said, of course Google has dates for everything. The question is, do they hit them? And it seems that with Penguin, they haven't been hitting them. Google, on the search results as well, seems to have dropped the amount of times Google shows that search image box. So, the search image box is basically when you do a search in Google and up comes a box showing images for that query. It seems Google has dropped that. If you take a look at Mozcast, let me bring it up over here so you can see it a little better. You can see that Mozcast feature chart shows a significant drop. It's about a 50% drop from like about 35% to about 15% of the time that you will actually see image boxes in the search results. Same thing with Rank Ranger, shows about a 50% drop as well. I think they showed about a 25% dropping to 12% or so in terms of the times that image box will show up. Here's an example of what a image search box looks like. So let's give this a second to load. Well, let me just bring it up here to do a search for flowers. So this is the image search box over here, which shows images, and supposedly that's no longer showing up as often in the Google search results this week, as of a day or two ago. So that's interesting to see. Personally, a lot of people are saying, hey, it's good, I'm happy that they're not showing it anymore as often as they used to, because it really wasn't relevant half the time. Google announced, well, John Mueller basically said this very quickly about 10 days ago in a YouTube video, a Google Webmaster Hangout, basically saying that Google's going to go ahead and update their recommendations and guidelines, specifically around how Google handles JavaScript and crawling JavaScript, as well as they're making the rendering of JavaScript better, and they're always doing this, making Googlebot render JavaScript a little better going forward. So you can definitely take a look at that. I covered it this morning, but it's something that John Mueller said about 10 days ago, and Google said that about in the end of this month or early next month, they're going to go ahead and release those new guidelines. Google is now showing review snippets with reviewers' names. This is pretty interesting. So let me zoom in there so you can see it again. So you can see here it shows the review rating, and then it shows by Gareth. You can see over here it shows the reviewers, and it says by Scott, and over here it shows the reviewer by Evan. So you can see that Google's actually showing reviewers' names for certain types of reviews. It's pretty cool. Google released new schema, new structured data markup, specifically around courses. This is what the courses UI might look like in the Google search results. So Android development, Java for Android. These are courses markup. And the markup looks something like this. So if you want to mess around, this is the code. And this is the structured data testing tool, which shows it to you. This was spotted by Kenchi as well as by Aaron Bradley this week. And it's a brand new markup that's available that SEOs and webmasters could deploy if they are running school-based or course-based websites for their clients. Google's now showing images in the mobile image thumbnails in the mobile search results. We covered this about a few months ago, but it seems to be out fully. So if you do a search for example, door locks or something like that, you'll see that Google will show on the right-hand side of the mobile search results images for some of the queries. So you can see over here, there's images over here, which is pretty cool. I'm able to replicate this myself. So this is not something that Google seems to be testing. It seems to be something that comes up for certain types of queries, usually product-based queries. Google's also testing a whiter search result, desktop search result interface. This was spotted by, I can't pronounce his name, but somebody on, I guess from India, on Twitter, and let me just show it to you. So here's the whiter interface. You can see it's a little bit whiter over here, a little bit. The blue button's no longer there. So let's compare it to this. This is grayer, whiter, grayer, whiter. And then that blue button, that blue search button, white search button. So it's definitely a whiter interface. I don't know if Google's going to stick with that, but Google's constantly testing different user interfaces and so forth. Google reviews are showing, actually, I see it now live, helpful icons. So you can see a little plus thumbs mark with the helpful line over there. And if you click it, it actually lets you sort by most helpful as well. So it's a way for Google to get data about are reviews helpful and so forth. Google Maps sometimes seems to be real, is hiding full addresses in the search results. So let me zoom in again, show you what it looks like. So you can see here, it shows the address, so 56th Street, 84th Street with the floor number. But over here, it's hard to see in these screenshots, it's just showing the street without the actual street number or suite number, which is interesting. I'm not sure if this is a change that's going to be global, but I think they definitely should put the full address there. And sometimes Google shows the Google Local Maps pack at the bottom of the search result. It's very rare to see that, but Daniel spotted this. So let me zoom in again, keep zooming in to show you screenshots, which is a cool feature here. You can see ads, organic, and then at the bottom, a map result with local listings. Joy from the local search forums basically said sometimes it's happened, it's rare, but sometimes this definitely does happen. Google AdWords is now modifying, the keyword planner is now modifying your keywords. This supposedly happened a few months ago, but now Google's more transparent about it. So if you type in here, search engine optimization or pay-per-click into the search keyword planner tool, Google's going to say, hey, here's results for SEO and PPC as opposed to search engine optimization and PPC and pay-per-click. So they're converting your search engine optimization to SEO and they're converting your pay-per-click into PPC. And supposedly this has been happening for a while now, but Google's actually being more transparent about it now. There was another big bug in the Google AdWords keyword planner. Just like, I guess once you make a change and the bugs happen, but basically those who had active campaigns were getting this error saying you need at least one active campaign to use the tool. Google supposedly fixed it this week. It was a bug and they fixed it pretty quickly, so that's good. Google AdWords now adds a way for you to manage and access multiple accounts outside of using the My Client Center feature. So all you need to do right now is click on the email address or your customer ID at the top right, click on Manage AdWords account from the drop-down, and then you'll see a way to associate other accounts. And you can actually see your screenshot of it over here. This is what it kind of looks like, where you can actually click and go to multiple accounts over here, which is pretty cool. Almost done. Google AdWords has extended their deadline for the expanded text ads, so you don't have to switch your standard text ads to the expanded text ads Yet, you have to do it by January 31st, 2017, as opposed to earlier. So they extended that deadline for you, which is nice. And Google also announced they're going to kill off campaign experiments and campaign drafts in the very near future. Starting October 17th, you'll no longer be able to create them. And then on February 1st, 2017, they'll be completely removed. So Google recommends you no longer create them and you remove them before that date, but those are the new changes with AdWords. In any event, thanks so much for listening to this Search Boz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. Today again is Friday, September 16th. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.